clicked on record. Okay, go ahead.
So all our teachings are based on His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He's the founder Acharya of ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And yes, we've done a very, very elaborate revision for 25 minutes. And all of you, I'm very happy that all of you have taken at least 1 point home. And yes, if you've taken even a single point home and if you are able to implement that practically, it's the best thing that we can learn, because every time we learn Bhagavad Gita, we are able to get different anubhutis or different types of learnings, and you're able to practically apply in your life. And what is the 14th chapter all about? So we stopped at some point of time that Jiva is actually bound by three modes of material nature. So we are picking up from where we left, where, okay, now I'm actually having so many things. I'm actually not this body, and I'm actually this soul. But also I have to deal with the body, where I have to, I mean, to try to move out of this world, I still need to be I'm still bound to be in this body. So I need to know about this body more, how I can transcend the modes. That's where we pick it up today. And we learn in the first section, we see that what are three modes exactly all about, because we've been talking about three modes. Okay, material nature is very strong, Maya is very strong, this is what we've been hearing. But what exactly is Maya, how I can, how I can actually get out of Maya? That's something that we need to understand. And in the second part of the chapter, we will see that there is a race for prominence. So Maya herself keeps putting so many types of hurdles that they are playing from all sides. They're all tying, and they're all parts of our body are actually held so badly that they are keep playing with us. And our mind is stretched on one side, and hands and legs. So all of them are stretched on all sides. That's something that we will learn. And next we will see how are these modes performing those actions. Whatever action I perform, we saw that there is a third person who is, apart from Krishna sanctioning, material nature performs it. So how does she perform this work? And Krishna himself is giving this knowledge so that we can transcend the modes. Is Maya Devi all three modes of material nature? Yes, Maya Devi is the all three modes of material nature. So let us begin with the first shloka. First of all, it's showing the slide heading. Let me just move this a bit. Yes. Slide heading says that it's a relationship with Jivas, Prakriti, and the Lord. And how nicely you have all told what exactly is Prakriti. You all know what is Jiva. And also, of course, we know Krishna. So we will see how these three are related. We know that how these three are working together, but now we will see how these three are.
Can you ask them? Someone is
Is
saying
my
that.
voice better now? Someone's
Glitchy.
saying that my voice is glitchy.
No, Mataji, it's fine. Absolutely fine. Mataji, it's fine.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So we will see the relationship between the jiva, that is the soul, and the prakriti, and that is the material nature, and the Lord. We have only spoken how these three perform their work, but we have not seen how we'll see in detail how they are performing their task. Can one of you read this shloka?
सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तय सम्भवन्ति तासं ब्रह्म महद्योनिरहं बीजप्रदपिता.
Thank you very much.
It should,
Yes, go ahead.
it should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father.
Thank you. So here we see in this particular shloka that Krishna is the ultimate father. So he's saying that I'm the one who is giving away all the seeds to the material nature. If you see in the picture, if you see this picture very clearly, Krishna is there is a ray that's passing from his eyes to the material nature, that is Durga Devi. So through this particular vision, he is impregnating the jivas and he is giving away the seed. In this material world, we see that there are many types of species. There are many types of cows. There are many types of
Living entities.
many types of trees, many types of all types of many types of lions, tigers, and there are various species. So we think that these are by accident that's coming, is what scientists are claiming. But however, these are actually Krishna is giving the seed. I've heard that there are many types of mangoes. If I want to create my own type of a mango of my desire, whatever I want to create, it's not possible unless Krishna is giving the original seed. That seed is given by Krishna, and we have to preserve it. We have to preserve these seeds because it is our duty, and other animals cannot do that, but we can do that. But there is a misuse of it. Remember, we saw that in previous shlokas that human beings usually misuse the material nature. And so over here, Krishna is saying that it should be understood that all species of life, O
He is
son of
the
Kunti,
seed-giving father.
are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed giving father. So he's declaring, I am the one who is giving the seed. So if I don't give the seed, of course there cannot be living entities. So for this living entities, he has to give this seed, which is how there can be a human, there can be a species of particular
84
animal
lakh
coming up.
species.
Yeah, 84 lakh species can be coming only if Krishna is providing this seed to Durga Devi. So Krishna is the ultimate father. Now, what is the purpose of this material world? Why is there a creation, and why did the Lord create this world? Right? Why did Lord create this world? What's the purpose behind it?
Let's ask Buddha.
Yes.
Do you want to try answering this? No, he doesn't want to. Okay. Yes, Darshan and Bhavish.
The reason why the Lord created the material world is because of is to punish us.
Punish us. Yes. Okay. It's like a jail. It's like a prison house. It's like a punish us. But at the same time, he gave the material world so that we utilize the material world properly and get back to Godhead. We will understand that more. Thank you so much.
So the material world is meant for misery, just as a prison house is meant for punishment. So if you've seen, even in our material world, we have jails. What do we have in jails? There are some jails which are like very downtrodden, and there are some jails where I've heard that even they even provide Nintendos to play, and there are some jails which are not very like they're very luxurious. So there are various types of jails that we have even in our material world. So like that, even this world is also created something like that. So we will relate it how exactly this material world has different types of layers of jail. So this material world is meant for misery. So when I don't take Krishna's lotus feet, I'm in the misery. And just as prison house is meant for punishment. So, and Krishna actually, he says in one of the chapters that this place is Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. What is Dukkhalayam? Dukkha. Dukkha means it's sadness, or you're going through some trouble, misery. So Dukkhalayam, this place is first of all Dukkhalayam. First of all, it's actually having so much dukkha. And on top of dukkha, it has so much, it's so temporary. So even if I conquer that dukkha and I say that I'm enjoying, immediately I feel that, okay, I had this particular happiness and it's so momentary. So it's first of all Dukkhalayam and it's temporary. And jivas are bound. Ashashvatam means temporary. Shashvatam means eternal. Our jiva is Shashvatam, eternal. Ashashvatam means it's opposite of eternal, which is it's temporary. So jivas are bound in this material world. So this prison house is made for jivas like us. But we think that I'm actually enjoying. I'm actually having fun. I don't think I'm actually in the material world, and I don't think I'm actually suffering at all. So this is how we try to convince ourselves and try to try to enjoy this material world, which we are not. We have a misconception that we are enjoying. Then how are we bound in this material nature? In that case, yeah, can one of you read this shloka?
Yes, Bhavish. I think by the time I click the screen flips. Okay, Nidhi.
सत्वं राजस्तमा इति गुणा प्रकृतिसम्भवा निबादानति महो बहो देहे देहिनामव्ययम्.
Translation, please.
Okay, I think she muted.
It's okay. I will just read ahead. It's okay.
Okay.
Yes, so we have the material nature on the left. It's very, very important. We've seen it many times for us to know, but we need to keep this in our mind. And this chapter is dedicated to keep it in our mind. One entire chapter is dedicated only for the material nature. So it's very important. So it's saying Sattvas Rajas Tama iti. Sattvam Rajas Tama iti Gunaha Prakriti Sambhavaha Nibadnati Mahabaho Dehe Dehinam Avyayam. So the material nature consists of 3 modes. That is, we've already learned this. Who can tell? Okay, it's in front of you. So we have 3 modes in the material nature. One is goodness, passion, and ignorance. So when the eternal living entities come in contact with the nature, remember in the previous shloka we saw that Krishna is
The seed-giving
the
father.
seed-giving father. So when the seed-giving father puts his vision to the Durga Devi, automatically there is a living entity which is the jiva, that is the soul, is actually getting manifested in touch with the material nature. So there is a covering that starts getting created. So until then I'm pure because I'm eternal, and I'm also of course I'm not 100% pure. I have my mind, intelligence, and false ego. This also comes through. So these are contaminations that I still have. I still want to be enjoying. I'm still thinking that I'm actually the Purusha enjoyer, but actually it becomes even more strong when I get this material nature, material covering. I become bound to be in the mode of goodness, and then in the mode of passion, and also in the mode of ignorance. So when the eternal living entity comes in contact with the material nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. So conditioned means they're look at the picture. It's like our entire body is actually held. We are conditioned. In Hindi, it's called as Baddha Jivi. Baddha Jivi means we are like tied, Baddha, like you are held with something, and they're just pulling us. But we are thinking, okay, I'm actually myself, and I'm actually happy in this world. And how to understand? Just try to get this I mean, just for an example, for you to get it easily. Imagine you're wearing a glass, and if you see in the picture over here, there is a pink color face over here. So imagine you have one which is a pink glass, and you have another glasses which is yellow color, and also there's a blue color glass. So when I'm wearing red goggles, have you noticed that when you wear red goggles, I can see everything red around me, and when I wear a yellow goggles, automatically everything looks yellowish for me. And when I see when I wear blue goggles, everything looks bluish. So my vision is impaired over there with those colors. Like that, when we are desiring, those desires go through these types of glasses, and I get allured with those glasses in my mind. I get pictures of those kind of things, and I get allured that maybe I wanted to do this. You will think that I'll eat prasadam, but you will see some street food, and that's in the mode of ignorance, and you go ahead and you accept it. So that is your ignorance glasses. So we need to understand that we are bound in this way. I need to control my mind with intelligence and say that is not right, and I have to take the right path. Then how do these modes affect us? Now we need to understand the science of how it affects, so that we can be in knowledge. So when you are in knowledge, you can take a informed call. So here who are the people who are in the mode of goodness? So, can one of you read this, please?
Oh, the screen keeps. Yes, Aisha.
People in mode of goodness, sattva guna, always people peaceful and happy, active, proud of their knowledge, calm and creative thinking, helps ones to find solutions. Examples: Brahmana, scientist, philosopher, etc. Why does material nature bind them? Answer: sense of advanced happiness binds them and keeps them in repeated birth and death.
Yes, so here we see that people who are in the mode of sattva, they take a very informed call. They don't take any decisions in haste. Rather, they are peaceful. They're always in peace. That yeah, I'm not just a body where the body is in material nature. It's binding me. It's making me decide badly. But I will try to make an informed call as per what Krishna has instructed me. So that's being like you're peaceful and happy. Anyway, whatever I do, material nature is doing it. Let me just be very clean from my mind. So it cannot happen immediately. You have to take that step by practicing it. You can't just think I will do it. You have to practice the mode of goodness by your practical nature, the way you have to practice that and transcend the modes. So the people who are in the mode of goodness, they're always active, they're proud of the knowledge, because knowledge is the one that will make us see the right thing. And also they're calm, and whenever some work is given, I don't hastily take decisions, rather I will come up with the creative answers. And also it helps one to find solutions. See, whenever we are in other modes, we feel that we are either we are in the mode of like, I want to do a lot of things. That comes into picture when in the mode of passion, and also in the mode of ignorance. Forget it, man, it's so difficult to do, let me just skip it. So these are the kind of things that we might come across. But the one who is in the mode of goodness, you'll think that let me take 1 minute more. It's not going to take a long time. Let me take a minute more and take an informed decision. And who are such people? For example, Brahmana, he doesn't hurry up, let me just go enjoy some street food or something like that. And scientists, they take time and they are actually thinking that I need to make an informed call on what exactly I want to do next, even the philosophers. But the best example over here is the Brahmana, where they're always at peace, they are proud of their knowledge, they are calm, and they are creative thinking, and also they find solutions. Next, who are the people who are in passion or yeah, sorry. And why does material nature bind them? This is another thing that we need to understand. Um, sense of advanced happiness binds them to keep them in the repeated birth and death. So even those who are in the mode of goodness are bound by material nature.
They always want to be happy.
Yeah, so they're always happy already. So if I'm already happy, or if you go and tell a scientist, you should take up to Krishna consciousness, because you're already having this very good memory. You're also having great thinking power. You should take up to Krishna consciousness. They'll say, I'm already happy. Why should I even take up to Krishna consciousness? It's so simple for me now. I'm already in the mode of go. And yeah, this is one common thing that we hear, that I'm following good karma. I don't hurt others. I'm already, I don't step on others' feet, and I'm actually following, what exactly is correct and wrong. Why should I even pray Krishna? So these are the questions that we come across. But this is not right, because even if we are in the mode of goodness from our own gross senses, remember we called what is gross senses? Material nature. So material nature is actually contamination. We are in the mode of goodness, yes, but it's still a contamination to an extent that we don't understand. And that's why this is also a binding us from birth and death. But what is best then? That also we will see in the chapter. So people in the mode of passion, they are greedy. For example, in the picture, you see that they are over ambitious. From my body, I can perform 100 things. They would want to perform 1,000 things. In my body, in 24 hours, I can perform certain things. They want to become stronger by their gross senses, and they want to perform 100 things, 1,000 things. And yes, let's ask one of them to read, and if you can make us explain, it'll be good. Because we've heard so much about the material nature.
People in mode of passion, Rajas Guna, greedy and over ambitious, wants praise, honor in society, selfish, envious, competitive, and hasty, material enjoyment and sense gratification, money minded. I think this is bad.
So why do you think it's bad? Ayush?
Let's ask Arman. Why do you think it's bad, Arman?
Because you shouldn't be greedy, and you also, because you shouldn't be these things.
Yeah, you shouldn't be greedy. You shouldn't be over ambitious. Over ambitious means I want this, I want to achieve this, right? He always are looking for praise. For example, we want to be recognized saying, I'm the best student in the class, I'm doing the best in the class, right?
Yes.
Self,
You should be in Krishna consciousness.
you should be in Krishna consciousness. They are always competitive. I want to be better than Arman. I want to be better than Nidhi. Yeah, this is how people are jumping around and enjoying. They are like material enjoyment and sense gratification.
So how do we find these kind of people? We say that, I'm going to study so hard that I will get the best of this course, and I want to be getting the first rank. So this is one of the things where they are so passionate. We have to understand that we have to dedicate some time on a daily basis, and I have to just give away all the fruits to Krishna. And I have to work hard, but at the same time, I should not over endeavor that sometimes we may not get first rank, even if we have dedicated so much of our time. Even that doesn't happen, we should say, I have dedicated my time, I have acquired this knowledge, and if I'm not in the race of getting the first rank, I should not be too worried about it. So I should think this is oh, I get first rank, and I'm like, if I get first rank, I will be so praised in the society. So that's also binding us to the society, that's also binding us to this material world. And how does, so it's actually pronounced as rajas. We heard rajas, but it's actually passion is rajas, not rajas, it's rajas. Next we have people in the mode of ignorance. What do? People in the mode of ignorance, they are lazy, and they are in the mode of darkness, and they are madness. It's like the opposite of goodness. Whatever you have in the mode of goodness, like over here in the mode of goodness, people were happy, they were proud of their knowledge, they had knowledge first of all, and they could think first of all, and also they could find solutions. But over here it's the opposite. In case of ignorance, it's called tamas. So tamas people, they're lazy, they're not as active as the goodness, and also, but at the same time not as, and also not as hyperactive as the passionate people. And they're in the mode of darkness and also madness. They're always fighting with each other, and also they're crazy because they just don't want to do anything. You might find some people, how much ever you shake them up, they're like, no, I cannot do that, I think I'm not really up for it. So these are words that you might hear from them. And also they sleep long hours, because of their laziness, they're always sleeping. Some of them, if you've seen, you know what, I can sleep for so many hours. This is the kind of things that we hear. And also they're addicted to drinking, like they abuse their body with certain things, like they drink stuff that's not something that's good for their body, and they think that, okay, when I drink, I'm actually in, some kind of a world. So they don't think that they're actually going into the deeper. When you drink, you're actually going to deeper and deeper kind of ignorance. Your body takes so many hours to come back to its consciousness, and all of us are trying to move our consciousness higher. This drinking and drugs and intoxication, which are substance, which some people take, and it pushes them further down and down, and it postpones all his plans. That is, okay, can you do this now, is what the boss would say, and or the teacher would say, and the person would procrastinate so much that it would take, instead of doing now, they would do it like submit the homework after like a month or so. And they are confused because they don't have knowledge. When you have knowledge, you're at least having that clarity. And they're fearful, they're scared that what might happen next, because they don't know, they don't have the clarity. And they're depressed. Many people get depressed because they're pushed into ignorance and darkness, and many people in ignorance and darkness, they feel depressed. They feel that I'm getting so bored. So that's those are the signs, and they become panicky. They're like they don't know what to do. They get too scared, and they're dependent on others for happiness. So they would say, can you talk to me, or can you do something so that I my heart feels a bit lighter and better. Why are they feeling all of this? Because they're pushing. If you see in the picture over here, what do you see in the picture over here?
Yes, Om. What do you see in the picture?
A person who is on the mobile.
Yes, so the entire family.
All his family are on mobiles only.
Yes, all the entire family is on their mobile. They are just enjoying on the mobile. They're not bothered.
Yes. So this is how they are pushing themselves into the mode of ignorance. And if you see the picture below, also we have a child who is just lazily always sleeping during the day.
By watching mobile, he's so tired and he slept. In
Yes.
his hand, that mobile is there.
Yeah.
Yes, so this is another type of abuse of the mind. They just don't want to talk to each other. Rather, they are just all talking to through their mobile. Rather, you can interact in person. And why does the material nature bind them? Because how does the material nature bind them? Because they're in madness, they're lazy, and they're sleepy. So I should think that whenever I'm given certain tasks, I should think creative. That's the mode of goodness, and I should think how I can resolve the problem. But in the case of in the case of ignorant or tamas people, they will think, oh, how can I just give away this work and then stay calm and be lazy? So whenever I'm getting that kind of thoughts, I should think I'm now getting into lazy mode. It's ignorance. I should think how I can creatively solve this problem, because that problem is in front of you. Anyways, you will be coming across that problem even after 10 days. So rather accept it, embrace it, that this is your something that you need to do, and you should complete that. Sorry,
Yeah,
just a minute.
we see a message from Shreya and Sanvi saying, ma'am, I cannot hear you that well. So I think there is an internet bandwidth issue at your end. What about others? Are you able to hear us well? Can you give a thumbs up?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's clear.
Okay, thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I see thumbs up. Many people thumbs up as well. Yeah, thank you so much. Sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. So we have something that's in the mode of ignorance. That, as an example here, that they kill animals, and killing animals is completely in the mode of ignorance, because we are not thinking. We don't have that consciousness of that we are not this body. We are this soul. So I have to feed the soul. But here in the mode of ignorance, what do? They don't care if it's an animal or they don't care if I'm eating an animal or killing an animal or killing humans also. So these are the things that they have in their mind, which is in the mode of complete ignorance. And of course the karma would bind them. People who would kill, if I'm killing an animal today, of course I will be born as the same animal that I'm killing. I have to go back into that animal body. That's something that's very important to know, that if I'm killing a particular animal, I will be born as that animal in my next birth. It's karma. It comes back to us. But today we have like so many slaughterhouses where people don't mind killing animals, and they're bound to be coming back so many times. This is something that we should avoid completely. So I can't think that today I will just eat a small animal, and okay, it's okay if I'm eating, it's okay if I'm in ignorance. No, that is so binding. I will be coming back. So how to identify the modes? Can one of you identify who's in the mode of goodness, who's in the mode of passion, and who could be in the mode of ignorance?
Yes, Arman. Only
That's already
one.
in the list.
Yeah,
Okay.
only one.
So I see one person who's selling meat.
He's in the mode of, what mode is he in?
I think he's in ignorance.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Let's go to, yes, Ritu.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can see people eating the meat.
Mhm.
So they are also ignorance.
They are also ignorance. They are enjoying. They are in ignorance. Okay. Let's ask Ayush. What else do you notice, Ayush?
I noticed that one person is the selling the milk and cheese, I think, and they're trying to help others. I think it's in goodness.
You think that is in goodness. Thank you so much. Yes, Navya and Nitya. What else do you see there?
Prabhuji, we see the lady with the hat. She has a glass of, I think, alcohol.
Mhm.
So that would be tamas, I believe.
Yes.
Yes. Good. Let's see. We have Raghav. Yes, Raghav. What
I
else do you
think
see in the
that
picture?
there's a lady selling vegetables. I think that's in passion and goodness.
Vegetable selling passion and goodness. It is goodness. Okay. Let's ask Uday. Yes, Uday. There's a person sitting on the chair and almost dozing off with a
Some people are buying vegetables and milk, and I think that's goodness. And also, I have a question for the karma. Usually, what if bugs?
Sorry,
No,
your
we
voice is
couldn't hear
choppy.
you. Your internet connection is bad. So your voice is very choppy. We couldn't hear you.
You can put that message on the chat. So just to conclude over here, we have we can when you're next time when we go to the market.
Excuse me, Mataji.
Yes, sure.
Your voice is too low.
My voice is low.
Yes.
Is it
Okay.
low for everyone? Because most of you people had said it's perfectly fine.
Who said my voice is low?
We can't even hear you also, Prabhuji.
Shobita Mataji, Vidisha.
Hare Krishna Mat. You're fine. Your voice is fine, Prabhuji Mataji.
Mataji, it's good.
Okay, okay. Thank
Ah.
you so much. Okay, go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, just to conclude here, we are there's an animal, there is a dog sitting over here, even that's eating meat. So that's in the mode of ignorance, but they cannot do anything about it. The animals cannot think on their own, and they don't have this consciousness that they can go and choose goodness on their own. Because when you're in the animalistic body, you are pushed into a certain mode, because in this lifetime I ate so much meat, and I was in the mode of ignorance that I will be born as a dog, and if I'm eating so much lot of meat in a very violent way, I might be born as a lion or a tiger. And that's in the mode of many of them are saying that my voice is low.
Yeah. And someone is asking, can we erase our sins, erase killing sins through Krishna consciousness? Of course.
Okay, is it better now? Is the voice better
No,
now?
I think it's
Mataji, your voice is good. No issues.
Okay,
fine.
okay,
Go ahead.
okay.
I just logged in. It's perfectly fine. Go ahead.
Okay, so we have
Okay, I'm going to block this particular.
You're muted, Mataji.
You're muted. Muted. No. Still muted, Mataji.
just a minute, sorry, my speaker settings went out because I changed.
Ah.
Now is it clear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay,
Yes, Prabhuji.
go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So this dog is also trying. Dog cannot go up the mode. It cannot go from the from ignorance to from ignorance to goodness. But Krishna has given us a choice in the human form, that I can think on my own and I can make that choice of good or ignorance or passion. So that is something that we need to think about. Why he's given this, we need to make use of that. And how to identify the modes. So anybody who is in the lower modes are in this lower platform over here. Do you see the crocodiles and also animals, and they're all in the mode of complete ignorance. And we have these people who are on the earthly planets. They're all, doing something abominable. For example, a king, he's in the mode of passion. And we have all the devatas who have actually transcended the mode to the mode of goodness. So when I do something good in this material world, then I go to the devatas, that is the higher modes. And when I do something bad, then I go down to the animal form. And I do something that I'm passionate about, I come back to this material world if I deserve it. If I don't deserve it, of course, many a times we don't deserve it because we would have done something abominable. Then how do we identify ourselves? So how do I, Mataji, how do I identify myself into the proper mode is the next question that we have. There are certain simple things that we can see. So someone who is, let's ask, what do you understand by this slide?
Okay, so let's ask. Now the slide is saying identify your mode. Okay, so Ayush.
Okay, so the first one, if you wake up at 5 a.m., that means you have a goodness mode. The second one, it says if you wake up at 8 a.m., you have the passion mode. But if you wake up at 11 a.m., that means you have the ignorance mode. And right now, I think I have the passion mode since I wake up around 7 or 8.
Did you see
7 to 9. So I think I'm in the
honest
passion mode in this thing.
Yeah, see, I told you, as and when we learn this topic, you will understand yourself saying, oh my goodness, I belong to this mode. And
You can
easily
relate it.
you can relate yourself and easily you can correct it. See, I told you it's a very interesting topic. So others are also looking at the same thing, right? Let's ask.
गुड्डू बेडशीट का क्या इशू है?
Let's ask Paridi.
बेडशीट तेरा उसको क्यों अलग करके रखा है?
Okay, let's ask Paridi. So Paridi, which mode do you think you belong? What time do you think you wake up? Let's ask.
I think I wake up at like the second one, Rajas Guna.
Yeah, so you're also in the Rajas Guna, the Passion Guna. Okay, let's ask our brothers here, Darshan and Bhavesh.
First, Prabhuji, your voice is a little bit low.
Oh, let me come closer to the mic now. Is it clear?
Yeah, now it's clear.
Okay.
I think I'm in the mode of passion because I always wake up at 8 o'clock because I have to go to school at 9. So I always wake up at 8 o'clock. Yes,
Okay.
I'm also passion. I'm also in the mode.
You're also in the mode of passion. So let me do this. Let me lower all your hands. Let me ask this question straight now. Don't raise your hands now. Only raise your hands when I ask this question. So how many of you people wake up at 5 in the morning? Oh, Ritu wakes up 5 in the morning. Oh, Nidhi wakes up. Shrey, wow, many people are waking up 5 in the morning. Excellent. I'm really, really happy. We are really happy. Samyukta wakes up 5 in the morning. Vandana. Wow, Uddhav. Yes, so you people are by default in the mode of goodness. So people who are in the mode of passion and ignorance, right? Let's ask Arav. He was saying yesterday, Arav, so which mode do you think you belong now?
Well, who need weekend I can wake up at any time because weekend it's free, no school, no.
Yeah, see, so he's
be
in the,
independent, but in
yeah.
the weekdays, wake up 8 a.m., brush your teeth, and get breakfast and go to school that lasts until 3 p.m.
See, so you are in the mode of ignorance, Arav. You should come out of that mode of ignorance. That's what we are trying to explain here. Okay? I'm very happy that you gave an honest answer, but we need to come out of that mode of ignorance. Okay, let's move to the next slide and see what is there in the next slide.
Yes. So now we are able to identify slowly by our action. So next, and one more thing that we need to remember, that is it me who's trying to wake up late? No, I'm bound to be in this mode. And the material nature is making us wake up at this time. Then how do I even wake up early? Very simple. When you sleep in the night, couple of days we might need an alarm, but when you sleep in the night, you should think, Krishna, please wake me up, maybe 5 o'clock. And if you're already sleeping by 8 o'clock, like someone told, please wake me up by at least by 6 o'clock so that I can wake up and do something extra for myself and for my soul of waking up and chanting or probably doing a little bit
Yeah,
of
sleep
flower
early, wake
seva.
up early.
So just try to do such things. That's how we need to take Krishna's help to be out of the material nature. So there are certain other examples of other activities. There are certain people who do different activities. So different types of people do different activities when they wake up. Let's ask who is doing what.
Okay, let's ask Vishnu now. Yes, Vishnu.
It's called Vishnu.
Vishnu. Yes, Vishnu. Did I correct
I
you?
did.
Okay.
Yes, now
After
it's
waking
the
up, what time do you wake up? Vishnu.
sometimes at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock,
Oh my goodness. So what time do you sleep in the night?
probably 10 or 11.
10, 11. That's not good. You're almost in the, I think you're almost in the mode of passion and ignorance. So try sleeping early, waking up early. Sleep early, wake up early. So let's look at the slide. Identify your mode. After waking up, what do you do? Do you use your,
Rajaskun.
you're in the,
Rajaskuna.
yeah, you're in the Rajas Guna. What do you do as and when you wake up? Okay, let's ask Shreya.
I do Sattva Guna.
You do Sattva Guna, so you are chanting, you're thinking about God. Okay, excellent.
Okay. So now we know that when we wake up, what we have to do. As soon as we wake up, if we want to be in the mode of goodness, we should take up to chanting. Chanting for a long time. When we wake up, we do a lot of activities, but it takes only 10 minutes to complete one round. That too, if you're going very slow. If you're chanting on a daily basis, even your chanting rounds come down to 7 minutes per round. So we should take up to chanting to elevate ourselves. But initially, when we are chanting, we are only in the mode of goodness. There is something beyond goodness also that we will discuss. So also, Rajas is like as soon as you wake up, you're so hyperactive. I want to go exercise, build my body. This is in the mode of Rajas. And Tamoguna, they are like, okay, as soon as I wake up, I'm like lazy. Let me just check my phone for a long time. So this is how the tamasic people would participate in their activities on a daily basis. And what kind of books they prefer? So somebody who is in the mode of sattva-guna would actually, would think that let me buy something and read something that I can elevate my consciousness to and my soul will be happy with that. That is sattva-guna. And rajas guna is like, how can I make more money? How can I get better at my studies so that I can become the number one in the class? And somebody who's in the mode of ignorance would think, okay, it's now that I need to understand what exactly is in the all the cartoons which are actually in the form of tamoguna. I mean, cartoons are actually in some many ways ignorance because they're not coming from this world. At least the rajas, they know what exactly is going in the world, but tamoguna is even worse. It's the opposite of goodness, that they don't want to even involve themselves to the material world also.
Yeah, so you people are almost like in the mode of goodness when it comes to like reading scriptures. You have chosen the Krishna Katha here, coming and listening to Bhagavad Gita. But at the same time, when you're trying tomorrow to pick a book or to purchase a book, ensure that you purchase a book wisely. Do not purchase unnecessary novels or unnecessary textbooks which does not have any meaning.
Yes. So what time do they sleep? In the same way, it's the opposite. The way we heard about the waking up time. Why are people in the mode of sattva are able to wake up at a good time? Because they sleep at a good time. In the ancient times, people had these lamps.
So they had to be always surviving on the lamps. And because they survived on the lamps, it's very good that they could sleep on time and wake up on time. And this can elevate the consciousness, and also this will make us do good things. When you wake up early in the morning and also when you sleep on time in the night, you're not in that dizzy mode and you're not in that very irritating mode, that you're able to see things clearly. Automatically you're able to you'll have a better vision when you're waking up early. And second, when you're in the rajaguna, you think, okay, let me study as much as possible, and I'll just grab as much as possible till 11 o'clock, and then in the morning also I will wake up early and do things. These are like very hyperactive. And tamoguni, they'll sleep at 2 o'clock and they'll wake up very late in the morning. So if you want to elevate your consciousness, the primary thing that you need to do is wake up early in the morning and stay clean. Yes, somebody is.
Yes, Arav, you want to say something about this slide? Yes, Arav.
I want to say something about the slide. Today's chapter is the 14th chapter. So why there is, and I can't just see the screen to in this chapter, and what pages are we in? I don't also know. Can you show me the screen?
We will share this slide to you. In this particular slide, identify your mode. What is the sleeping time? What time do you sleep?
I actually sleep at 10 o'clock because a lot of videos say I'm watch a lot of YouTube, so a lot of YouTube videos say that sleep at 10 o'clock, and the lot of video actually said that wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. For me, it looks like early in the morning.
Yeah, so you're in the mode of passion. You want to just watch YouTube videos. You have to change your style. After learning, you should change your style. You should stop watching those unnecessary videos. Okay?
Yes. The reason why we are giving these practical examples is by just doing these simple things where you don't have to think if I'm in the mode of goodness or passion. Just by doing the simple thing of sleeping early and waking up early, you can automatically transcend the modes.
Yes, Ayush, you wanted to say something.
Okay, like I have a question about the last one. Like you said, the comics aren't good, but I get the religious books because I like them. I get like the Mahabharata, I like them, and then I ask for it. I like them, and I know this thingy, and I like reading them, and I have some of them. And in the sleeping time, I mostly sleep at 9 or 10, and then wake up at 7 or 8.
Yes, that's good. But now try sleeping little early. If you're sleeping by 9 or 10, try sleeping little early and waking up early. And as you said, the comics, you can read comics. We are not saying comics are banned, but apart from comics, you can read something else as well. You can pick up a book of Krishna and try to explore. Krishna's books are much higher taste than the comics book. Trust me.
I got the new Krishna book yesterday.
Excellent.
Yes. So comics are not like they're a big no, but it's duty to understand that they'll push your consciousness. Maya Devi will push your consciousness lower by reading comics, because they are not in any mode that is elevating. It is not making you think about your soul. It's only thinking of your body. So whatever is keeping you away from your soul, is not in the mode of goodness. And also the waking up hours early in the morning, actually devatas are waking up by 3:30. That's the time that we should all be doing it. And who are the devatas? The devatas who have transcended the modes and they've gone to the mode of goodness, and they're in the higher heavenly planets. So we should also be waking up along with them, where we can elevate our consciousness.
But we can't wake up at 4 in the morning, so at least wake up 5. If you're not able to wake up at 5, wake up at 5:30.
Yes.
At least wake up at 6. So people who have logged in from India has woken up from 6 o'clock. Yes. So there are so many hands raised. Sorry, people, we are almost running like 10 minutes late. We will try to complete this, and then we promise you that we'll come back to you guys for all your questions. So hold on to your questions.
And sorry, we are extending every time only because we want to keep all of you engaged. So because we are engaging everyone, there is a we shoot up the time on a daily basis.
And what exactly next Arjuna pondered, does one mode become predominant on a daily basis? So during the day, is there a possibility that me alone, even if I'm in the mode of goodness, one person can have predominance over the other mode? Is it possible? Yes. So what happens is early morning when we wake up, we are in the mode of goodness. So the person who's passionate, if he's waking up by 11 o'clock, automatically he has lost the race because he is already in passion. And also, if he's waking up late, it becomes again he is actually in the mode of passion. So afternoons, and so in a let's say I in individual an example that I don't okay, let's say if it's let's call that we have a person who is we have a person who is X, and this X person wakes up early in the morning. Imagine he's waking up very early in the morning by maybe 4 a.m. Even if he's waking up by 4 a.m., late in the morning, that is by 11 o'clock, till early evening, he's still in the mode of passion. So whatever we do, if you have seen, when we wake up early in the morning, we are having very good thinking power, we have a calm mind, we are able to have clarity in our vision. But later, around 11 o'clock and above, what we do, we are like, okay, let me complete this work, let me go play, let me go finish my homework. So these are the things that we have in our day. And then later in the night, you're like, okay, I'm now drowsy and sleepy, let me just sleep off. So that becomes your ignorance. So this is how the modes are spread across over their predominance means they are dominating even in the day. How much they are dominating, this is how we need to understand. So when we want to do some good work, we should do it early in the morning. That's why we chant early in the morning, so that by taking up chanting, we are able to keep ourselves in the mode of goodness throughout the day. It influences us. Next, Arjuna pondered, what is the result of action in these different modes? What happens by knowing, and what happens if what is the results of knowing these different modes? So yes, one of you can read this out.
Yes, Arman.
Okay, so it says results of actions, goodness. Result of pious actions is pure. Passion. Greed develops hankering for happiness, but ultimately misery. Ignorance. Foolishness, madness, laziness, and illusion. Pure goodness. One obtains transcendental knowledge.
Haribol. So we got something new over here. So we had something in the mode of goodness, which was a pious act. I do a pious act and it becomes pure and becomes goodness. And I have something that's greed. So a person in the mode of passion is becoming very greedy and he's hankering for happiness. He's like, how can I become happy? Maybe if I do this task, I'll be happy. Maybe if I do this. So he's like running throughout the time to do things.
Pious means good deeds.
Yeah, good deeds are called pious acts, and bad deeds are impious acts. So someone in the mode of ignorance, they are like foolish, madness, and it becomes lazy, and they become illusioned. And apart from goodness, passion, and ignorance, we have another mode. That's pure goodness. That's Shuddha Tattva. So, sorry, Shuddha Sattva. In the mode of pure goodness, one obtains transcendental knowledge. So, whenever you're doing activities like listening to Bhagavad Gita and also keeping your soul in conscience, you are transcending the modes automatically. And this is the best of the modes to get out of the material world. You're already out of material world if you're doing these kind of things that can transcend the modes. And what happens in their next life? Yes.
Okay, people, we still see most of you people are chatting saying your voice is low, your voice is low. There is no issue with our voice. We have already tested it. Please check your audio settings or check with your internet bandwidth. You have network issues. There is no issue at all here. Okay, so don't please message saying your voice is low, your voice is low.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so next thing is the mode of goodness. What happens if a person is in the mode of goodness? He attains pure, higher, and heavenly planets. So, if I am doing good deeds, I still go to the heavenly planets. But where is the heavenly planet? Can one of you answer where is the heavenly planet?
Yes, Om or Vidya, where are the heavenly planets?
Above the earth,
Is it in the spiritual world or the material world?
material world.
Yes, so we are still in the material world, but at least we are in the higher planets where we don't have to think I have to go earn for my food, I have to keep my body intact, nothing like that. At least there is some facility there to do Krishna consciousness, but that is also not great. Next, in the mode of passion, one attains earthly planets and lives on earth and transmigrates through human body. So if someone is in passion, we know that they will come back to this material world and in the same bhuloka. And ignorance, he takes birth in the lower hellish worlds. So when we are doing activities which are in ignorance, we go down. So we have to be conscious all the time and perform a proper activity.
Yeah, so if you, so please focus on this. If you still want to remain in the mode of ignorance, then you can realize what will be your birth.
And also we have something called as pure goodness. In pure goodness we reach the eternal abode of supreme lord. So this is the hope that I'm in this jail. I have different types of jail. Maybe in one of my jails which is in ignorance, it's the jail is very dirty. And when in the case of passion, the jail has certain good amenities where I can work and then keep myself healthy. And the third one is I have, in the mode of goodness, I have a jail where I'm given all types of facilities, where I have Nintendo, I have so many facilities to play around. So this is the type of jail that we are into, where there is facilities for goodness and there is nothing. Is reading books and writing reviews in the mode of goodness? Yes, reading books is in the mode of goodness. But what kind of books are we reading is in the mode of Z, I mean dash. So it depends on what kind of books you're reading.
And what kind of reviews you're writing also, it depends.
Yeah, so if you're writing to say, you know what, this person's like so bad and all those kind of reviews, you should be very conscious. You can't just think that you have to think of karma. When I'm doing something bad, it comes back to me. So we have to be conscious about all these things. And how can we transcend these modes and how and become better in the mode of goodness? So now we are going to learn how I can go higher modes, which is important for us to know.
Someone is saying Krishna is equal to goodness. No,
No.
Krishna is also not in the mode of goodness. If you want to become a Krishna conscious person, remember the last category which Mataji has highlighted. It should be above goodness, which is pure goodness.
Yes, Krishna is saying that if you practice goodness, you will reach my eternal abode and you will become one of me. Like pure goodness, even Krishna is pure goodness and you will become one like him. Saying if you practice pure goodness, you will become one like me. He's trying to help us. He's being so merciful. So he's saying, how can we transcend these modes, Krishna, and how can we become better to become pure goodness? So here we have this sadhu who's trying to teach this disciple, who's teaching this disciple about Krishna consciousness, and also he's teaching how he is not this body, he is this soul, and also he has a super soul. So this is all good things. When we learn these kind of things, we are automatically pushing ourselves to the higher limits of pure goodness. So we should always keep ourselves early in the morning. We should read shastras so that we push ourselves to a higher modes. Next, by following the four, how can I push myself? You know, I know that I should go above modes, but how do I do that? There should be some roadmap to how I should do that, right? So how do I do that? First thing is, first and the most easiest thing to follow is I should not any consume anything that is going to, whatever you eat.
Saw this yesterday as well.
Yes, we've seen this at least in two classes, where whatever we eat, we become that. So if I'm eating meat, of course I will be becoming something that particular thing. So I should be very conscious about, for example, if I eat prashadam, that's going to go into my body and it'll elevate my consciousness and it'll make my knowledge glow higher and higher, brighter and brighter. So, but meat is already, we are eating something that's abominable and it's also another body, which is not required for us. You know, people come up with some kind of slogans that I don't get protein from non vegetarian food. That's all not very, that's all not very good to hear these things, because everything that's required for our body is already given in our grains and pulses and everything. There are so many people who are practicing vegetarianism, and if you've seen, even elephant is a vegetarian. And I'm I'm sure if elephant is a vegetarian, we lack no protein. This is all a very kind of a people who are in the passion. They want to publish these kind of things and prove something, some theory which they come up with. So we should avoid meat and we should avoid gambling. We know we should. Some people ask, can I play on the computer? I'm not playing in real, but can I play on the computer gambling? No, it's not allowed. Even that is also gambling. Why is it gambling? Because when we gamble, we are expecting some surprising results. When we are expecting some surprising results, that is not conscious. We want to consciously practice something, and it should consciously come to you. That is in the mode of goodness. But if you're thinking, I want some surprising exciting results, that becomes gambling. And intoxication, we abuse our body with some unwanted things, and also illicit sex, which is like thinking of another woman already when they're married. And next we have sattvic association. So now we saw that we have something called as pure goodness. So how do I elevate myself to pure goodness is what Krishna is explaining now. He's saying that sattvic association is like you're having company of devotees discussing about spiritual literature. Like all of you so nicely have attended this class to listen to this. And also sattvic diet, like what are the sattvic diets I can consume? I can eat, take fruits, milk, grains, cereals, vegetables, natural products, and sanctified karma free diet. So what does it mean? For example, if you remember, we learned in the fourth chapter about karma. When I perform yagna, that yagna is actually, the gods are very happy with that. The devtas become very happy and they pour rains. When they pour rains, the living entities from the higher planets, the heavenly planets, are actually coming down to the earth. And when they come to the earth, the rain actually convert themselves into grains. And we consume those grains and we push our consciousness to the higher planets. But if you eat meat, meat is actually coming from the lower body, lower animal body. There we are not elevating our consciousness, we are pushing our consciousness lower. So this is the explanation about why we should be eating sattvic food, where we are taking heavenly planets and we are able to elevate our consciousness higher to the goodness.
And also no beverages, no Coke, no Pepsi.
Yeah.
In case you're drinking all that, think through whether you should drink. They are not there in the sattvic diet.
Yes, they're drinking any kind of things which is not recommended. Like you can take panchamrita, you can take
You can
Varuni
drink
drink.
lots and lots of juices.
Yes, yes, juices are very good. And also sleeping early, waking up early. We saw how, and also cleanliness. What is shaucham? Cleanliness. You have to take a shower in the morning. So when we wake up in the morning by 5 o'clock, you should immediately clean your belly and take a shower and keep your mind clean. Rather, I wake up and I'm still on the bed and I become lazy and I don't clean my belly, and then later I take a shower in the night or maybe in the afternoon. That's not allowed. If you do that, automatically you're pushing your consciousness down. So you see in the picture, they put up nice vegetarian sattvic diet, which elevates our consciousness. We have to think when I'm eating also. Okay, I'm eating Krishna prasadam. This is offered to Krishna, and even while cooking, I'm chanting and I'm thinking about my soul and how I'm offering to Krishna. So I'm in the mode of serving Krishna. When you're thinking like this and cooking, automatically you are in the mode of pure goodness. But if you're not having that consciousness while cooking vegetarian food, you're still binding. But when you're practicing, I'm practicing now to cook in the mode of transcendental, where I want to serve Krishna, then you're slowly elevating your consciousness to transcendental, and Krishna loves that you're trying to serve him. And sattvic dress, so you should wear simple clothes. Don't go ahead and buy like so many clothes and say, this I'm become messy, or you know what, this is not a great dress, I should buy another dress, and you'll get gather around so many clothes, which is unwanted, which is not required. Next, so you should have simple clothes and less number of clothes which don't uh,
provoke others, make others feel
Don't
jealous.
show off with your
Yeah.
clothes, whatever you're
Yeah,
wearing.
don't make feel others feel jealous. That's not good.
In the
And what
pictures, you can look at the Vaishnavas, the devotees, what type of clothes they're wearing, what type of association they are. And then the last one we see is the sattvic environment, where you should spend your time rather than going to the unnecessary malls and unnecessary places. You can spend time over there.
Yes, some places which are looking, which will elevate our consciousness, and rather when we go to the malls, we are like so crazy of being in passion or in the mode of ignorance. And what is the Kali Yuga Dharma?
Yes, Darshan. What is the Kali Yuga Dharma? What else can we do apart from 4 regulative principles and following diet?
Chanting on the holy name.
Yes, let's chant.
Let's chant once, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare.
Yes, we have a story coming up, very, very exciting story coming up. Just give us another 10 minutes and we should be done. So what is ultimate conclusion of all of this, Krishna? So here he's saying, Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati taitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So one who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. So Brahman means he is taking up the very good path of understanding what is Atma, Paramatma, spiritual world, spirituality. All of this is Brahman. So Mam Chayo Vyabhicharena means you should be doing Avyabhicharini, means you should be focusing on one thing only. That's Krishna. And Bhakti Yogena Sevate. You will gain that by bhakti. Sagunan. Gunan means those threads are called as guna. So you will have sagunan samati taitan. You're able to see things in clarity. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. By doing this, you will be able to transcend the modes. See how nicely Hanumanji always thought of Krishna or Lord Ram in his heart. This is very good that you're 24 hours keeping your Krishna in the heart and also in our minds. We should think, I just saw Mataji showed me Mayapur deities. I should keep that in my mind. So throughout the day, you should keep that in your mind. You should think, whenever I'm thinking bad, I'll just think about Krishna's form and I will just think about Krishna's lotus feet. And by this way, I can transcend the modes. And also same with Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada always kept Krishna in his heart and his mind. So by keeping Krishna in your heart and your mind, you can transcend the modes. You're not in goodness or in ignorance or in passion. You're in pure goodness. That's higher. That's spirituality. Even by Hanumanji, even though he was in the material world, even now Hanumanji is in the material world. I don't know if you know the story that Hanumanji didn't go back. He's still there in the material world, in the Kim Purushaloka. So he's already in the spiritual mode because he's always thinking about Lord Ram in his heart. Same is the case with Srila Prabhupada. He was always keeping Krishna in his heart and he could transcend the modes. He could go beyond the modes. Next, we have the story about Narada Muni and Valmiki. Who knows the story about Valmiki and Narada Muni? Does anyone know?
Kevin says, how can we remember Krishna if we don't know how he looks like? Because we are in the material world. Do we remember the deities? We know how Krishna looks like. Let's ask Kevin itself. How does Krishna look like, Kevin?
He has like a peacock feather.
Yeah, he's a two-handed form. He has a peacock feather. He's the most beautiful. He's all attractive. So we know his form, right? And we can look at the deities that we have in our altar, in our house. We look around. If we see anything beautiful all around in this material nature, it is because of his energy. We can think of that as well. Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
You asked something. Somebody raised their hands. Did you ask something?
Yeah. I asked about, does anyone know the story about Valmiki and the Ratnakara story?
Okay, Shauri has raised a hand. Yes, Shauri.
Yes, ma'am, I know about the story. So once there was a robber called Ratnakar, and he was like a man who used to rob people and used to take him in the forest, loot the person who has the money and all, and then he used to kill him.
Yes. And
Then
then?
once he saw Narada Muni roaming freely in the jungle, and then when he saw him, he's like, okay, I can get some from him. And he went near him, and then he trapped him. He asked him, give me all the money. And then Narada Muni said calmly that, okay, fine. Anyways, you're gonna go. You're opening you're gonna go to hell if you do this more and more. So I don't need to worry. Anyways, you're gonna go to hell. I have no problem. Then Ratnakar is like, how? I'm doing this for my family. So then he told in defense that he's doing it for his family. Then Narada Muni asked, okay, fine. Then go and ask your family if they can share some burden of your sins with them. Then he asked his mother and father, he asked that, can you share the burden of the sins that I commit? Then the mother and father says that, no, we are not going to share. Did we ask you to do robbery and get us money to feed us? No. Then he went to his wife and asked, will you share, please? Then she told, no, I cannot share anything that way. I don't want to be gonna go to hell, because I really don't want to go to hell, so I don't want to share. So then Ratnakar went back and to Narada, he untied him in a rope and he told that, I'm really sorry. You opened my eyes, O Narada Muni. Now tell me, what can I do? Then Narada Muni told that, go sit under a tree and start meditating on the name Lord Ram, Ram, Ram. Then he did whatever Narada Muni said, and he became famous as Vasudevji. Sorry,
Yes.
not Vasudevji,
Valmiki.
Vyasaji.
No, not Vyasudev. It's Valmiki story. So just
Yeah,
yeah. Thank you, Shauri. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So let me just sum up what exactly was the story and rephrase it. So once there was a hunter and his name was called Ratnakara. And this hunter, he was very poor. So what he did was he used to rob people and he used to make money by robbing. And he thought that's a good profession. And this robber, he used to live in a jungle with his wife and his children. And whoever comes to this particular place, they were not safe at all because he was, sorry, can you mute yourself? So this robber used to steal whichever traveler comes to this place, he used to rob them up by stealing wealth from those people. Then what happened, one day sage Narada Muni went into this forest, and as usual the hunter was always in the look of somebody or the other so that he can grab somebody or the other so that he can take some money out of them. Then when he saw Narada Muni, and he was looking like a holy man who was happily singing in the forest and playing his veena. Narada Muni is always holding his tambura and he was playing his veena. And this particular Ratnakara, he thought, oh wow, we have this here. Here's a nice chance to get a very rich person. He was looking very, very rich and opulent. So he thought, let me steal him also. He immediately jumped on Narada Muni from the tree. And while he was hiding, because he came right after him, there was a huge sound of thud which came. And there was a flash of the sword in front of him. And he gave him all. He said, give me all that you have. I want to kill you. I will kill you if you're not giving me all that you have. Then immediately Narada Muni was like, well, I'm actually a son of Brahma, and will you be killing me? He's asking. Narada Muni asked him. So, I mean, how can you even kill Narada Muni when he's transcendental? And he asked, why do you want to kill me anyway? I have never harmed you at all. So why do you want to kill me? So the robber said, it's not because of anything you did, but I want to kill you. I want your wealth and whatever you have. I can take it from you and then I can feed my children and myself. Then Narada Muni asked, he was so disturbed by all of this
And Narada Muni said, well, you're saying that you are actually committing all these sins for your wife and for your children. Let's do one thing. You can go back to your children and you can ask if they are going to take some of your sins. So Narada Muni Ratnakar went back to his house and he asked, my dear child, I have been feeding you by killing people because I don't have any, I'm not having any money. So I somehow earn money by killing people, and this is how I earn money. Now Narada Muni is saying that I have committed so many sins by going ahead and killing people. It seems that I'm committing sins. Please, because I'm earning like this, you're also a part of it. Can you take some of my sins? Then the child said, of course, the child would say, no, I cannot. Then again, he went back to his wife because he's obviously earning this money even for his wife. So he went back to his wife and he said, please, I have committed so many sins, is what Narada Muni is saying, because I should not be killing people. I got to know that I should not kill people now. But I have already committed so many sins. Please, can you take it? Then she said, of course, she would say no. And again, he went back to his father also. He asked, please, I have committed sins. Can you please help me if you can take little sins from my side? And the father said, well, that's what you have been doing, thinking that's your karma, but I cannot take all of this. Then finally, he went back to Narada Muni, and Narada Muni said, when he went back to Narada Muni laughed at him, and he said, I promised you that you won't escape, and you have come back surely to me. And he held him, and he said, you do one thing, because you have been so honest with all of this, and because you have been good and you've come back, that you've checked and then you have come back, you do one thing. You can remove all these sins that you have accumulated for all these years by one very simple process. He said, you can he gave the mantra in his ears. He told, you can start chanting Ram, Ram, Ram. Then he said, okay, I will chant this. By doing this, will all my sins go away? Said, yes, all your sins from past birth, future birth, everything will be destroyed. And he had full faith. When Narada Muni gave these instructions to him, he had full faith on Narada Muni, and with full faith, he sat down on in a very nice, in a clean place. He sat down and he started chanting to destroy all his sin, because he was not in knowledge until he could meet Narada Muni. When you meet any of these great personalities, or when you're having prasad of meeting any kind of sadhus, they always elevate your consciousness. And like Srila Prabhupada also, he's given this benediction of giving us Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Like that over here, Narada Muni gave him this very nice mantra that he can sit down and chant. But what happens when we start to chant, we are not having clean mind. Because of our past so many sins, we are not able to chant properly. We may feel I'm yawning. It's taking time for me to get used to this mantra.
Not able to focus.
We can't focus. We're like, oh, I can't hear this for a long time. I think I'm loud. My throat is choking. These are the kind of things that we may find. And even the Ratnakara had a similar problem. What was his problem? He could not even pronounce Krishna's name. Have you seen some people, you go tell them about Krishna, they'll drive you away. They'll say, why are you even coming and telling me? They're in such ignorant and passionate mood. You tell them chant, they'll say, I can't chant. I can't even chant once, they would say. So this man, Ratnakara, he 100% had faith in Narada Muni's instructions. He started chanting Ram, but he could not even pronounce Ram because of so much sins that he had committed. So because he could not, but he tried his best, and he's saying, Mara, 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 Mara. So he kept saying Mara, 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 and automatically he was elevated that Sri Ram was born, and also he wrote the holy book of Ramayana, and that's nobody but Valmiki. So Valmiki wrote Ramayana on how events would occur in future. So he could write this. All of this could happen by very powerful things that has happened in his life. One, he heard to the instruction that came from the spiritual world. That is, Narada Muni delivered him by telling, You chant this and I will help you what next can be done. Second, he took it in full faith. That's more important. He surrendered to his guru, that is Narada Muni. So even though he was so abominable act he had performed, all his sin got driven away. And third, he had Dhrida he had full determination. If you've seen over here, he's sitting and chanting so nicely that there was an ant hill on him. There was an ant hill and he still did not move. He said, my guru has told me to do something and I will sit and do that. And that's how his name was turned from Ratnakara to Valmiki. So this is how we need to have full faith, determination to what we are hearing, and also chanting on the holy name. Holy names are not coming from the material world, they are coming from the spiritual world.
And that's how you will be able to transcend from
Transcend.
any mode. Forget about goodness. You can directly go to pure goodness.
And even while you're in the material world, you can be situated in your pure goodness.
Okay, what do we see over here? Let's ask Nidhi. What do we see in the screen?
I see a phone.
A good phone and a...
Wait, what happens when you see this first phone?
A good phone and a broken phone.
Yes, so when you see the first phone, how do you feel? If you have a good phone,
It looks so good and nice.
Yes, so when you have a good phone, how do you feel?
If Mataji is giving you a...
Very happy.
Yeah.
Yes. So what happens when the same phone breaks?
We feel sad.
Yes. So let's say you have a nice car. How do you feel?
Very nice.
Yes, you have a Lamborghini, you enjoy, you feel very nice and happy. And when the same car breaks,
We will very sad. We will very sad.
feel sad. In the same way, so actually we are not understanding that I am feeling sad, happiness, sad. So we are oscillating in our material world. But how do we transcend? We have, right now we are taking this prasad of listening to the Bhagavad Gita through Radha Govind temple. That is the first deities that we have posted over here, which is Radha Govind. And this is how we are able to get the knowledge. Or we need to offer our, offer flower seva to our guru, that is spiritual master, who is Srila Prabhupada, or by offering your obeisances. So every time, remember Vandanam. So we have to do Vandanam to all the gurus. By doing this, we are getting real happiness. That's real happiness. And by Kirtan, did you see the small boys, how nicely they're jumping and dancing in the Kirtan? And the boy who is on the right, he is taking the chanting beads and he's chanting. So these are the real happiness which are transcendental. Now, one more quiz over here. What when you see the crow, what mode do you remember?
Yes, Aisha.
Maybe like ignorance?
Yes. So crow is in the mode of ignorance because it just takes away any food that's given to it. Sometimes it eats not so very good food also.
From the burial ground as well.
Yes. And what about the bee?
What do you think about the bee, Arman?
I think the bee is kind of like passion, because its only goal is to make honey, just honey, make honey, and if anything gets in its way, sting.
Yes, perfect. So it's always behind honey. So even the passionate people, they're always behind money. So they're either want to study more and then earn more money. So this is their full motive. But the swan, what about the swan? Who can tell about the swan?
Suche.
So the swan is like goodness. It's first, yeah, it's goodness.
Okay, let's ask Shreya. Why do you think, Shreya, the swan is in goodness?
I think the swan is goodness because it doesn't do any harm to anybody.
It doesn't do any harm to anybody. That's a good answer. Okay, Nishchala would also want to answer. Yes, Nishchala.
So I think swan is in goodness because it lives in like clean water and it's white in color, which is usually a pure color.
Yes, that's a very good answer. It's always in pure color. Yes, Vidya, you want to answer as well something? You want to add on to what Nishchala said?
Yes.
Swan is always concentrated in water.
Yes,
For the
always
fish.
focused. Yes,
For
concentrated
the
towards.
fish.
Yes, so the quality of a swan is it's called Hamsa. Hamsa is what they call swan in Sanskrit. So what does Hamsa do? Hamsa, it doesn't harm anyone. It just lays itself in the water and it keeps herself calm and all the time in the mode of goodness. And apart from doing this, it has a very good quality. The quality it has is whenever you give milk and water, mix the milk and water together and give it to a swan. The swan is so good that it knows how to separate the water and milk and it consumes the milk. So it can you imagine separating milk from water? It's literally so difficult to separate water and milk, but the swan has this talent of separating milk from water and it consumes that. So why are our acharyas glorified as paramahamsas? Paramahamsa means even if we are around all kinds of modes, even if we are under ignorant or in under the passionate mode, Paramahamsas are so good that they only take what is the best. Like a swan, they separate the milk from water and they try to consume only milk. They consume only what is best. That is pure goodness. That's why swan is considered to be in the mode of pure goodness. Sorry, goodness. Now the last one is, this is just a small analogy of how we can understand this entire chapter, that when we have, this is a very common example that we see in the material world, that garbage in, garbage out. So when we put garbage into our body, mind, intelligence and everything, automatically garbage comes out. For example, I watch, when I see from my eyes, from my senses, I watch a Nintendo and I think, that's a good one. I want to play and become lazy and be in ignorance. So that's how I'm putting garbage in my body and in my mind. And whenever you're in ignorance, mind is also like, I want to be in the mode of ignorance, and it keeps flashing those nice alluring things. So Maya Devi keeps pushing those pictures in your mind that look, now you can go play this Nintendo when you see it, or you can go play in the garden. Rather, that's Maya Devi who's pulling you away from the mode of goodness. Then how do we transcend the mode? So it's like good in, good out. So instead of garbage in, we need to change that to good in, good out. How? I need to hear Krishna Katha, and that's how I will be able to also transcend the modes. So good things come out of my mouth. Have you seen some people, they always speak something that's not good, that is some words which are like abusive. So that's because they're also feeding some things that is not correct. So you should feed good things so that even the good things come out of your mouth, and also you are able to give good things even to your body. Our body is layers of whatever experiences we've had. So whenever you're growing with bad experiences, that remains in our body. So we don't want to become a body of garbage. Rather, we want to become a goodness body. So the summary, I didn't make a summary slide, but to summarize everything, let me just go back to the first page. So we learned how three modes are dominating on ourselves, and next we saw how each and every mode is trying to race on us. That is, all the jiva is pulled from all the sides with all the modes. And also how when we are in action in the modes, like we have to wake up early, we have to these are the actionable items that we can perform easily and we can come out of the modes. And also, what is pure life? How can we take up to pure consciousness? This is how
Yeah,
we
the
need to
very three
understand.
easy things which we learned. One is follow the four regulative principles. Number two, eat a proper diet, association with sadhus, just like the way we are doing, a proper association with the devotees, right? Proper dress, attire, right? Waking up early, sleeping early, choosing right books, be in the mode, at least if you are not able to be in the mode, be at least in the mode of goodness. Yes. Right? Slowly you will elevate your consciousness to the mode of pure goodness. Okay, so
let us all chant for ourselves. We have completed the session. Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Hare.
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
One very
Hare
important,
Rama,
one very important thing
Rama,
now that we are
Hare
concluding, I would
Hare.
like to say one very important thing over here, that we have Maya Devi is under the control of Durga Devi, who's in this picture on the right. So Krishna is actually assisting, Maya Devi is assisting Krishna in all his work. So if we take Krishna's lotus feet, automatically Maya Devi will help us to do better things. So wherever there is no Krishna, there is Andhakar, means it's darkness. There is a shloka in Chaitanya Charitamrita that wherever there is no Krishna, the knowledge, automatically there is Maya. So that's how we have to understand.
Okay,
Should we
so
do the kirtan first, or we can?
yeah, somebody yesterday wanted